Here we go. There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. I need to tell you that Rochelle is out sick today. I just hope she gets better soon. It's one of those things. And we got a great guest for you today. And I'm going to see, she is the staff linguist. And so, but I'm going to give it a shot. Giorgio Michailidis. Michael, is that close?
That's excellent. You said it perfectly. Thank you for not cutting it.
And then you can also go to his website, which is giorgiomichailidis.com, and find out all about him. Welcome to the show, young man. You're an author, you're a speaker, you're a visionary. Am I close?
You're very close, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I got to tell you, so, you know, in looking at your bio and stuff, and you know, as everybody has, we've got good parts and we've got bad parts. We've got great experiences. We've got not so great experiences, but they all lead us to become the people that we are today and to help us to help other people. One of the things that you talk about a great deal is being kind and treating others as you would want to be treated yourself, which I think is, you know, I got to tell you, if we could just convince everybody that that was a good rule of thumb and a good way to be, I think we'd be better off. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. It took me quite a few decades to realize that's the way you should live, but it's exactly the way you should live. You wake up in the morning and you're out in the street and you know, maybe you get in a confrontation with somebody over spilled coffee in the coffee shop, and then you have to think, should I say something, or would I like somebody to treat me the way I want to treat them? You know, it's not that hard. All you have to do is just stop, breathe, think how you would like to be treated, and everything will be okay.
Be still, my foolish heart. You mean stop and think before we speak? That sounds like a novel, radical concept.
It is, but really, it has to do a lot with how you perceive yourself. And believe it or not, breath, being able to stop and breathe, take a few deep breaths, it changes a lot of things. People don't realize that the smallest things in life are the ones that really work.
They are, especially like if you are having an argument with your significant other and they just said something to trigger you. Before you respond in kind, take a deep breath, take a step back, and just let it kind of flow over you, and then say something that's more appropriate rather than to strike back. Does that make sense?
Or say nothing. That might be wise as well. Better. Sometimes it's best to, you know, just go and then come back and talk about it later. But you have to talk about it. You can't let anything fester, especially in a relationship. You need to communicate. If you lose communication, you're done.
You know, and I want to find out about your story and to tell everybody your story. But when I was younger, I had relationships with people who did not believe or understand that we needed to talk about stuff. My former wife, as an example, her family grew up in a place where what she would do is they would have an argument, and then everybody would go separate their ways, and then they'd go to bed, and then they'd wake up in the morning, and it was never spoken about again. So it just kind of festered there, and it became an underlying theme for everything that they did. And so when she came into my world, that's how she was used to living and being. And so understanding and communicating was not something that she felt comfortable in because she'd never done that before in her whole life. But I think there are a lot of people like that, aren't there?
Yes, there are. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I had the same situation with my former relationship. I was very straightforward. I said, you need to communicate about everything every day. But, it depends how people grow up, what their belief system is, um, what their past life experiences are. And maybe they don't feel comfortable in communicating that way. But I will tell you something. I actually had a quote that I wrote recently. I posted on my TikTok. So imagine that you have a beautiful house and you keep it clean, and you go through it with Mr. Clean every day, but you have this one room that you tend to put all your garbage in, especially when you lose the day that the garbage man passes by. So all of a sudden you have rodents, you have cockroaches, everything is festering there in that little room. You try to show to the world everything's okay because the rest of the house is clean, but eventually that little room is going to bring out the smell. It's going to bring out the rodents. And your house is going to crash, and everyone will know there's something wrong. So don't put it in that little room. Talk, communicate. It's simple.
And that way you can clean up that little room
Yes.
so that there isn't the festering crap that's in there that tends to affect us in many, many ways throughout our life, and we don't even recognize or realize it.
You're
It really
absolutely
is.
correct. You're absolutely correct. And when you do clean it, and you really clean it, I mean, you take out the trash. In my personal life, I would take out the trash, and I had plenty of it. I had a lot of trauma, a lot of addictions, a lot of issues that I had to work on throughout my life. And once I work on it, I would do it with God, and I would put it out there and surrender myself. Once you surrender it, that little room is clean. Your house is clean. Just stay there. Keep it that way.
Exactly. And I know that there's a spiritual component to you, which I think is great, because we all have, and for sake of this discussion, I don't care whether you call it the universe, the source, God, whatever you choose to call the divine, the divine one. To my mind, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of faith and believing in the fact that you're not alone in this, and that you have support, and you have universal support from the other side. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, there you do. You have support. It's all there. If you think about it, I mean, you're not just the body. You're not just the mind. There's much more to it. That spiritual side that people talk about. Some people, like you said, have different names for God, or you can say Allah, or you can say the divine, or the source, whatever you want. But the fact is, there's one creator, one energy, and we are all part of that energy. And probably that's why we're all connected too. Even if we try to think we're individuals and we all have our separate thing going, we're actually connected. Imagine, I say this often, imagine an ocean, and God, the source, the divine, is that ocean. And we're waves in that ocean. We're not the ocean, but we're the waves. We're all connected.
And by the way, speaking of being connected, Giorgio, there is a gentleman in Kenya, and his name is Samuel, and he has a group of people, and an organization. He feeds children every Saturday, and I know that we're based on what we're going to talk about. You really will appreciate him for what he does, and right now, you and I are being listened to in a big room with a big TV, and they're showing our faces, and they're talking, and they're listening to us talk. And this is across the world from us. That's how connected we really are, don't you think?
Yes. As far as technology is concerned, that is the means of connection, but we are connected on many other levels.
Oh, when you talk about the energy that we have, and and Giorgio will be right back.
Can you hear me?
Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm good. I lost you there for a second. That it was that connection you were talking about.
Exactly. And I anticipate that your camera will come back on in just a second, but
Oh, you can't see me?
I can't see you right now. No.
Oh, wow.
But it'll come back, and if it doesn't, we can still have a great communication. So, but you're right. Giorgio, there was a guy that wrote many books. His name is Neil Donald Walsh. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yes. Yes.
And in Conversations with God, the first book that he wrote. Oh, there you are, and there you are. And I'm gonna do. We are. I think did you change devices?
Yes, I did. That way,
If you-
I'm trying to get it out of the other one.
Okay.
Okay, that should do it.
There we go, and very good. And see, that's the thing about technology, and the thing about life is it doesn't always go quite as you planned, and good things can happen. And at the end of the day, you will be fine, even if during the course of things may not always go so great. But Giorgio, tell us your story about your walk through life to get to the point where you said, what I've been doing isn't working, so I need to make some changes. How did that go for you?
I think like everybody in life, we go through our ups and downs. Obviously, I reached the stage sometime in my life where I scraped the barrel, stayed down there for a while. But the good thing about that is there's nowhere else to go down the barrel. You eventually have to come up. So I did come up, but I had to realize that it takes work to stay up. So that's not easy. A lot of people want to stay up without doing the work. You got to do the work. You got to do the inner work with yourself. Why did I go all the way down the barrel? Why did I stay there? Why was it hard to come back up? You have to do their inner work. So I was able to do that inner work. And I think I'm at a very good point in my life that I can transfer that to other people, this knowledge, what I did, and hopefully help them in their life.
I believe that's why we're here. We're here to be helpful to other people, to be kind to other folks, to recognize that we are not just individuals floating around the world, that we really are deeply connected to each other. But a lot of times we have to go through the challenges of life to get to where we recognize that there are challenges in life and that we can live life a better way. Do you believe in that? Do you know that?
I do, but I'm going to go back to what we talked about prior because it relates to what you're saying, that we're connected, you're saying. I agree. But let's go back to that ocean. If we are the waves, we're connected because we're part of the ocean.
Right.
So you have to realize that ocean, the name of God, the creator, okay, any name you want to choose, it doesn't matter. There's a creator out there. If you understand that there's a creator and we're not it, but we're part of it, then you can anchor yourself daily to that energy, to that vibration, a higher vibration. And life will be so much easier, so much better. You're not going to be blown around like a leaf, in the wind.
You just said the magic thing, which is that, and regardless of what you call it, we are all energy. We are all part of the same energy. They are now proving that through science that we are energetic beings and that the universe is energy, and energy never dies, and it just transforms. And Einstein proved it, Tesla proved it, and now modern science is actually admitting, well, there may be some things we don't see.
Yeah,
but they seem to be kind of real there. And we need to take a quick break. And when we come back with Giorgio, I want to talk about the process of hitting bottom. As a matter of fact, we're going to play a little clip right now, and we'll be right back in just about 40 seconds. So everybody just pay attention, and we'll be right back. Here's another point to ponder by Positive Talk Radio. One man lost everything he thought to find him. His job, his marriage, even his confidence. At rock bottom, he realized the one thing no one could ever take was his will to rise again. Sometimes life has to break us open so we can discover the strength we never knew was inside. Remember, your lowest point is not the end. It can become the very foundation of your greatest comeback. And you are listening to Positive Talk Radio, where stories of hope come alive. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, and Giorgio Michailidis is here. Is that close?
Yeah, you're good enough.
He is an author. He has gone through, Giorgio, we all go through travails of life. Some of us blame other people. Some of us blame circumstance.
That's the easy way.
Yep.
I've done that. You've done that. It's the easy way.
Explain why that's the easy way.
Because you don't have to take accountability.
Whoa.
I mean,
there's that word again.
Yeah, it's that word. I mean, if I take accountability for something, like, oh my God, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. What if I don't like what I see? What if I realize everything I was doing was wrong? Let me not look at that mirror. Let me not take accountability. It's your fault, Kevin.
Yeah, because it's saying sometimes looking in that mirror can be hard, because you have to look at yourself from a real perspective and a real place. And when we're blaming other people and having that victim mentality, it's hard for us to accept the accountability. There's that word again. Accountable means, what does accountability mean to you?
You need to take responsibility for your actions. I mean, if I took your car and I crashed it and I brought it back to your house, actually, I've done this once. So I'm sorry to say it. I didn't crash the whole car, but I hit the side of it and I brought it back to the person I borrowed it from, and I didn't tell them. This thing still haunts me. I try to find that person. After 20 years, I haven't been able to find them. It haunts me. I want to tell them what I did. He knew what I did. He didn't even say anything. I didn't take accountability, and it haunts me. I'm really sorry about that. I was in my 20s, stupid.
Well, I don't know about you, but I had my 20s stupid period too.
Yeah. But the good thing is, once you look at that mirror and you are ready to take into consideration that everything you do stems from you first. You might have influences. You might have trauma from the past. You might have everything going on in your world. But in reality, it's you. That's where it all stems from. If you understand that, then you're on the right path to change everything.
And the past doesn't define you, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But as we all know, the past is what makes you who you are now, right?
It's vital. We all have got our. This is my belief, and you tell me. By the way, there are children in there. Are they? Well, say hi. Let's say hi to them.
Rella, come here. Come here. It's my youngest daughter.
And she said, "Oh, Dad, I ain't going over there."
She's the youngest one. Say hi.
Hey, how are you? Hi. See you later. I love children because they are, the essence of who we are started when we were children and when we were born, because we were born great. And then a lot of the experiences in our life have told us, you ain't so great. Other people have told us, you're not so good, and stuff. And we have to get through that to recognize that we are special to ourselves first, right? Is
Absolutely.
that how it works?
One of the books that I wrote is Be Like a Baby. So if you even go back and read the Bible, you'll see that Jesus says, let the children come to me, because they are the ones that the heaven belongs to. Okay.
Yep.
And why is that? I mean, we all understand it's because they're pure. We haven't yet diluted, I should say, their kindness, their purity with our thoughts, with our beliefs, with the do's and don'ts. So if you can be like a child a lot of times during your day, it's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned, and I wanted to ask you, and I've been thinking about this quite a little bit. There are lots of people who believe lots of things, and there are people who are Christians or profess to be so. But I don't know. Have they ever not read the Sermon on the Mount?
I don't know.
And what I mean by that is, in that piece, he talks about doing what most other religions at one point in their and even in spiritual practices, and there's a piece in there about loving your neighbor as yourself, taking kindness and being kind to other people. Virtually everyone that I'm aware of, like, I don't know how many there are, but why do you think it is that sometimes we don't act that way when we're talking about, quote unquote, the other? Why can't we just recognize that we're all one, and that we're all together, and that we're all connected, and we're all part of the same philosophy, the same program?
I think there's a lot of influences. And if you're not really, really rooted 10 toes in the ground, those influences can sway you. And when I'm saying influences, it can be social, the environment you live in, it can be your social media, it can be family. So people that are not strong and rooted properly, they can easily be swayed around.
How do you help people? Because I know that you've made this into your life's work now. How do you help people stay grounded and to recognize that they have the ability to be and do and have anything that they choose to?
So everything's based on my personal experience, where I was and where I am now. And where I was and where I am now has to do with God, period. Everything has happened because of God. And that's why that's what I try to explain to people. What I did and how I was able to overcome my situations, my problems, my addictions, my traumas throughout my life. Look at myself in the mirror, but I was not alone. I didn't do it alone. I had a higher power with me. That's what people have to understand. There's a higher power here. It's all around us. It gives us breath. You're not alone.
Nope.
Ask for help. Ask for help, and help will come.
I'm a firm believer that they are patiently waiting for us to make that declaration. And when we make that declaration, they then go about making things better for us in a profound way. If you're going through life and you're saying, no, I got this, they say, okay, you got it, I get it, you're fine, and you do what you want to do, and there's free will and all that. But when you say, no, this ain't working for me, and I really want to create the connection, and you talk about it in your work, that it's not a matter of necessarily deep meditating or doing all that. You can have a conversation every day with the divine.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. You can have a conversation every day, and the creator will listen to you. And I think when you reach a level, and I'm not talking about being in a guru in a cave somewhere in the Himalayas. I'm talking about living this materialistic life that we all live. But if you manage within you to reach a level where you're comfortable eventually you will be able to have conversations with God. Simple.
In my mind, I have conversations with God, and I turn at spirit guides and angels and folks that are there to not only protect me but also to help me do the things that I want to be able to do.
Right.
I have conversations every day. And also, by the way, and I don't know if this has been your experience, so tell me if this is your experience. I get messages back. I get messages through music. I get messages through billboards and what other people say, offhanded comments. I get it's amazing if you pay attention.
Yes.
And isn't the key to paying attention is
Yes.
that you are paying attention?
If you pay attention, there's daily synchronicities, there's signs, there's so much going on around you. God always has a way to show you, as long as you ask. Because we go back to what you said, there's free will. Yes, absolutely, there's free will. There's free will. But free will only takes you so far. You need to connect with the source. Once you connect with the source, your free will becomes the right will. If you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly. And the right will is what is right for you.
Right.
And to live your life to the degree that you actually want to be and want to live.
Right.
Rather than allowing other people to determine what you're going to be. Because, I don't know if you know this, Giorgio, but a lot of people, friends, family, I don't want you to be disappointed. So don't do that. You need to do but when your heart calls on you to do something and you don't do it, it doesn't go away. It continues to present itself in unique and different ways, don't you think?
I think you touched the button, the heart. I think that's what I believe, that you're able to communicate through your heart.
Yep.
Maybe not particularly the pumping, the one that does the pumping of the oxygen and the blood circulates in our body, but something in there. If it's your mind, I don't think you communicate through your mind, because I believe the mind is a tool for everything we do. And God has given us many tools to use this body and to experience this life. But the heart is where communication happens. That's where you experience everything that God wants you to experience. That's where you can talk to him, through the heart.
Absolutely. And that is it's a skill, but it's also something that if you recognize in yourself, number one, that you like yourself. I'm willing to bet, Giorgio, there was a time when you were going through some of your struggles that you didn't like yourself very much. Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's times that it's funny. There are people, and I will include myself, in order for us to protect ourselves, we say, I'm great. I'm the best. That way you're kind of protecting yourself, your ego. You use your ego, your pride, your arrogance, right? Because you don't want to break down and say, no, you're not. You're really not. Let me check you on that. You're not.
Exactly.
But on the other note, we are energy, and we belong to a higher energy, which has created the whole cosmos, the whole universe. So we are something. We're something very special. We're children of the Most High. That doesn't mean that we don't have to do the work. We're here. We're supposed to do the work. We play different roles. We wear different costumes. I'm a father. I'm a mother. I'm a worker. I'm a teacher. I'm a brother. You have all these roles you play. Some you play them well, some you don't. But these roles are not you. Before you said how family might influence you. Absolutely. Yeah, there's good friends, bad friends, good family, bad family. They can influence you, but they're not you. Once you wake up and you realize you are part of this wonderful energy and you connect with this energy, nobody can ever tell you what to do or how to do it. You know how to do it. I don't need to call friends and tell them about my life and ask their guidance. No, I'll ask my Father in heaven. That's it, period. I don't need anyone else.
And we need to take our halftime break. And when we come back, by the way, we're talking with Giorgio Michailidis. Am I close?
Yes, sir.
And go to GiorgioMichailidis.com, and he's got several books out. And in the second half, we're going to talk about a new program. And then there's also another program that he says he can't talk about. Maybe if we all get together, we can make him spill the beans on that one. But we're going to talk about the new program that he's got, that he's working on, when we come back. And stay with us, everybody. This is a great conversation that we're having. Giorgio, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back. Don't anybody go anywhere.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this: be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Giorgio is right over there. Giorgio, what do you think of that little essay on being kind?
I was just thinking about it. I really liked it. I want to touch up on the boundaries. So important.
Yep.
So important to set boundaries. You need them. And you know what? Boundaries are not made to be broken. Boundaries are not made for you to pull down so people can cross over. No. If they match your boundaries, then they're good to go. If they don't match them, don't destroy yourself. Don't destroy your peace. Don't destroy your inner peace, your life. Keep the boundaries up.
And there are lots of folks who will try and test your boundaries because they've always done that and they've always gotten their way. But if you sacrifice your boundaries, you really are sacrificing yourself, aren't you?
Yes, you are. Absolutely. I'd like to touch up on something. Maybe I'm going a little bit further to the extreme, but this is the way I see it. And this is what I believe. So I have to touch up on it. You know, I'm not
Sure.
here to please everybody. I'm just here. Whoever wants to listen. In the Bible, you'll see and you'll read where it mentions that the prince, the king, I think it's called the prince of this world is the devil, period. It said, and if you look around everywhere, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of things going on. You can perceive the devil in any way you want, of course. It doesn't have to take the shape of a demon or, the horns or whatever. But it seems that this world is a way for us to be tested. It's a way for us to grow. It's like a school. Constantly, the more you awaken, the more that light inside you from the divine opens up and you're brighter. It seems like it irritates more demons. So the more testing you have going on for you constantly. So those boundaries that we talked about, you better keep them up.
Well, and I don't disagree with you at all, because there's a lot of hate, division, and fear. And a lot of it's being driven by fear, which leads to hate and division and we have to make it, each one of us has to make a conscious decision how we are going to live our life and how we're going to respond to those negative things when they come up. I'll give you an example. I have an associate who was late, and she didn't call first. Now, in my management side says, "Oh boy, she didn't call. She's late. I got it, and I'm gonna, boy, am I gonna give her what for when I see her." But in my compassionate side, there is a reason. And so before you go flying off the handle and start talking to somebody like they're less than, let's find out compassionately what the reason is. And maybe you can help them be able to get through that, because everybody's going through something. And sometimes you can help people, sometimes you can't. Sometimes they need to take that responsibility unto themselves. And the universe, you're right, it's a school. The universe will continue to test you and test you until you begin to start seeing things in a different way and start making better decisions because it's our choice. We get to do what we want, but to make better decisions about that. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, and I've seen it. I keep on seeing. I've seen it with myself, and I've seen it with my surroundings. If you do not make the changes, you will be bombarded with similar experiences that you have already failed in, and you should have learned from them. But since you didn't learn, you'll get it again. You want that toxic ex reappearing in your life because you didn't learn the first time? Damn it, they're going to be right back in your life, either the same ex or someone similar. Learn the experience. Move on.
I call it dating somebody else in the same suit.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, some people are dumb enough to go back to the same ex. They've already been, gone through the whole situation where they destroyed everything they had good inside them. They go back and they do it all over again. So what are we learning here? We're learning that you have to learn from your mistakes. Otherwise, the universe will bring you the same again and again and again.
Because that is, and I believe that is what we deep down inside want. We want to change. We want to live better, but when we allow those things to continue, it's just a continuing reminder that remember the last time you did this? Well, guess what? You get it again. and remember that time? Well, yeah, get it again. So you might want to think about learning from it. And sometimes people go their whole lives and don't put the two and two together and to make that work. And I'm glad you're doing the work that you're doing, because you're helping people understand that that's kind of how it goes. And they have the ability and the right to change how they're thinking about something so that they can work from their heart and from who they are really to live their life so much better. You're doing so many good things in the world. Tell us about the new program with the children that you have going on.
Care on Child. Thanks for asking. It's actually a program where I'm trying to keep children away from this matrix as much as possible, meaning we want to teach children or remind them or keep them in that frequency, the higher frequency that they're still in, by offering them classes like yoga, Reiki, manifestation, visualization, an alternative type of schooling online. They're not going to be doing math. They're not going to be doing English or another language, ESL or whatever. They're going to be honing in on what they already have inside them. So as they grow up, hopefully they'll be grounded enough and they'll carry this spark with them and they won't get lost.
That is a beautiful program because and you're right, when we're little, we have got a spark of the divine, of the universe in us.
Yeah.
And then life tends to beat that out of us over a period of time. But if you get the tools early enough so that you can work through those things and understand them, then you have a much better shot at having a great life, don't you think?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And try and think of any child. I mean, unless you're an unawakened person, and I call unawakened the people that just sleep, get up, go to work, procreate, whatever they have to do, and repeat that cycle. They think of nothing else than what their body needs at that moment, right? Just the animalistic side. If you're unawakened, you probably won't understand me, but I think a lot of people are the awakened type. So look at children. They give you so much joy. You can do so many things with them. They don't care if you buy them an expensive present. They'll play with a little plastic bottle. You know, it's so much beauty inside them. But society has a way to slowly take that beauty away from them, whether it's not in a happy home, not in a good family, or the upbringing they have, or the society they live in, their surroundings, and they lose it. But we want to keep that spark going, because this world has to change, and it's not going to change if we don't make the change, especially with the children.
It starts with the kids, you know, and it's interesting because I drove a bus for 12 years, and and the children and the kids and the teenagers on things like race and stuff, they have a completely different viewpoint than older people do, because they grew up correct, and they grew up in a time when I was listening to three girls talking about a attractive young man. They were, you know, maybe 13, 14. And they were talking about, rather than his racial makeup, they were saying, he's got such beautiful skin. What is his they said, oh, he's Filipino, and he's got a little bit of this, and he said, oh, it's just beautiful the way he is. Because they look at people as people, as a lot more kids do. And, you know, we need to take our last break of the day. But when we come back, I want you to help us, because there are so many people, Giorgio, and you know this, that are asleep. But more of us are waking up, and more of us are getting more in tuned. But in that in-tuning process, they don't know how to take it from where they are of being unhappy with the way they've been to become more aligned with themselves, more self-centered, more helpful. And I don't mean self-centered in a negative way, but centered in your heart and who you are. And that's some of the work that I know that you're working to do, is to help people who are hungry. And I really think that there are a lot of people that are hungry for this type of information, this type of change, because they see the totality of their life to date and they recognize it ain't working so good. So maybe I should try something else. Can we talk about that when we come back?
Absolutely. Do we have 1 minute for me to jump in?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so because you were talking about the girls and what they were saying, how they don't, think the way adults do. I read somewhere Gandhi's yoga teacher was Paramahansa Yogananda. I have a very tight connection with him. I believe, in previous lives, I think he was a teacher of mine. Anyways, when he came to the United States to bring yoga in the 1920s, someone asked him in the auditorium, they said, what do you think of black people? What is your opinion? Because back then there was segregation and all that. Right. So he turns around and he tells them, well, if God wears his white suit in the morning and at night he wears his black suit, is he still not God? Simple.
That is so true. And I want us as a society and as a people to stop looking at the exterior of people and to look at their heart and their intentions and who they really are, rather than what society says that they might be. Yeah. And we got a long way to go to do that. But when we come back from this break, Giorgio is going to kind of give you some steps on how you can begin the process of becoming who you really are and who you really choose to be. It's an important conversation. I'm looking forward to having it with him when we come back. But right now, we're going to talk a little bit about leadership from a more positive perspective on how to lift everybody up and not beat them down. We'll be right back. Here are some points to ponder from Positive Talk Radio. You know, some say leadership is about getting the work done, about pushing forward, no matter the cost. But what's the cost of a team with no purpose? What if a single act of support, a single moment of genuine grit could change everything? What if leadership was a catalyst? Because true leadership isn't about being in control. It's about empowering others to find their purpose. It's about leading with passion and igniting the fire in everyone around you, creating a culture of teamwork and common purpose. A true leader finds this culture by enthusiastic purpose and team development, making each team member feel empowered to create, improve, and execute their tasks with genuine passion and a strong belief in the company's mission and focus. In other words, lead with purpose. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. We've got a great guest for you today. His name is Giorgio, and Giorgio Michailidis. Kinda, maybe.
You killed it on that one, but it's okay.
I killed it as in a good thing, or I murdered it as in a bad thing?
Yeah, you kind of murdered it, but it's okay.
So give us your last name so that we get it right.
Michailidis. It's a long Greek name, I know. Giorgio's fine.
Giorgio Michael. Well, but your website is Giorgio Michailidis, and we want the people to go there because you've got lots of good. You've got 3 books that you've written that are important books.
I've actually written 5 or 6 books. Some of them are not relating to what we're discussing. That's why they're not on the website. Like a children's book and a science fiction book. And there's another one that's coming out shortly. It's a testimony. For a short testimony of the past couple of years, very, very short book. And then it has many of my quotes that I've posted recently in that book as well. But that testimony kind of bridges the gap of who I was 5 months ago and who I am now, because there has been a big transformation.
In that short of period of time, in just a 5-month period of time?
Yes.
Yes. Can you share what that transformation has been a little bit? Because, see, we're all continuing to move forward, and we're working, and we're changing, and we're developing ourselves, and we're continuing to move forward to create the life that we wanted to create, I believe, before we even got here. And we are being assisted by the universe to do that if we allow that to happen.
Right. So I think everybody in their path, when they reach the point of that transformation, it's not that particular point that's transforming them. It's all your past experiences that led you there.
Yep.
So that point for me was a recent 3-year relationship I had, which, went toxic, infidelity and disloyalty and all that. But that part was the catalyst. And when I mean catalyst, everything changed in my life. Instead of me repeating what I had done all the previous years and all my previous relationships, I surrendered to God. And upon surrendering, amazing things happen. I can't explain it to you. Just amazing things. Things that I couldn't even imagine. Not only inside me, but also outside. But like I said, everything happens because there has been many ups and downs until you reach that final moment. And that final moment for me was 5 months ago.
I can only say congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
it's a very important moment in time.
Yes.
Because now you can begin to do the work that you wanted to do before you even got here. And sometimes that takes a little seasoning for us to get to that point with enough experiences, both good and bad, that we can then take everything to the next level. And then from my perspective, the universe opens up and great things start happening. I got stories, Giorgio. I got stories upon stories
I'm
about
sure you do.
about how the hell I ended up here
I'm sure you
talking
do.
to you. It has been a remarkable ride. And has it all been good? No. Part of it was my bad country music song period. When my dad died, my dog died, my wife left, I lost my house, I declared bankruptcy, I hit a bridge with a truck, and a bunch of, and I got sued for $50,000. But all of that paved the way for me to continue to move forward. And isn't that the key for us to continue to move forward with faith and with gusto and with the belief that we are here to do something great?
Well, I'll put, for instance, my recent situation. If I had tried to deal with things the way I had dealt all the previous years in other relationships, meaning take matters into my own hands, I would have failed. This time was different because I surrendered completely. Completely.
And by the way, for those who may go, "Oh yeah, he surrendered a little bit," surrendering completely is, excuse the expression, it's a big ass deal, because if you're surrendering completely, then the outcome becomes irrelevant.
Yeah.
You are allowing the universe to dictate for you on your behalf how that outcome is going to be. And you're not going to be vested in a particular outcome. You're going to be accepting of the outcome that the universe provides. Am I close?
Yeah. It's thy will be done, not mine.
Thank you.
I had actually surrendered once more in my life, and I think I was 29 years old, which I had gone through a similar situation. Actually, that's funny. Okay, let me backtrack here, because you surrender, everything's good, doesn't mean you can't fall back into it.
Oh no, it's a battle every day.
That's right. You gotta keep the course, do the work, keep the word, avoid the sins. You got to be diligent. You got to have discernment. You need to do the work, period. So when I did surrender at that time of my life, which was also a pretty hard time at 29, again, incredible things happen. Incredible things happen. And in this testimony that I'm going to write soon, and I think in about a month it should be published. It'll be on Amazon and multiple other places. I'm mentioning that, but I also mentioned that surrender at 29 years old in one of my books. When the heart speaks, God listens.
And there's no question about that. It's all an energetic thing, because we are always connected to the divine energetically. And it's kind of like, do you know what a transducer is?
Sure.
It's kind of like we've got a transducer, and the divine and other people also have one. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, if you listen to the radio in your car, do you ever wonder why there aren't any wires attached? It's because there's a transducer in the radio, and it changes vibration and energy from vibration and energy back into sound. First of all, it transduces it into vibration and energy, and then when it gets to its destination, the reverse is true, and that's how you listen to music in your car without you being wired up to the radio station. And so I think we have got that same thing, and we can communicate and clearly, and we get messages and communications back. At least that's what I believe. Do I need to be on medication?
No, you don't. If you do, then I need to also, because we're both listening to the same source. So
yeah, and everybody does. Lots of people ignore it, and oh no, that can't be right. And but one of the things and when you talk about surrendering, there was a song. It was written in 1968, and the gentleman who wrote the song, he was going through a particular tough time, and his mother, who had passed away when he was 14, came to him in a dream, and she said, "Let it be. Just let it be." And that was her message to him, to surrender, let it be, let things happen the way that they're going to happen, and just let it be. And for me, that was a powerful moment in time.
Yeah. And my father recently died. Well, it's been about a year. He passed away. And
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And you mentioned the dream just now. Well, I actually saw him in a dream as well, and he showed me that I should leave where I was. So there's synchronicities, there are messages, there's so much going on around us. Let me explain it differently for some people that are at that level, about to be awakened, but they're not yet. So modern science tells us that they know there's about 11 dimensions. Well, they just figure it out, but I'm sure there's endless, limitless dimensions. But we're here in a 3-dimensional world, and that's all we do. We think in 3 dimensions. That's not enough, because we're not a 3-dimensional being. Our body is. We're here to live this experience in the 3D, but we're more than that. I'm listening. I can challenge my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. I can hear my thoughts. So I know I'm not my thoughts. You know?
That is so true. That is so true. And by the way, Giorgio, if somebody wants to contact you, to work with you, to have a conversation with you, how do they get that done?
I think the easiest way would be through TikTok or IG, usually through TikTok. Because of this transformation that happened to me in the last 5 years, I was actually pretty an introvert type. I didn't want to, put myself out there, but I was kind of pushed to put myself out there 2 months ago. So 2 months ago, I started these 2 accounts on social media. And it's leading me down a path that I'm here to help people understand that what I went through, and I know what a lot of people are going through, there's a way out, and there's a way to connect with the divine, and there's a way to show them. So TikTok is probably an easy way to send messages, or IG.
And go to his book page. He's got several books that are really a good for different stages of your life, like 35-year-old men and up, and different ones. So go there and look at that as well. Giorgio, I want to thank you so much for being here. You're a pretty awesome dude, I gotta say.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. So are you. I appreciate it.
Well, you got to come back, because we're not done yet. We haven't talked about a bunch of stuff that
I'll come back when I'm ready with what's coming next. And what's coming next, it's going to be soon.
Then I will wait patiently, because I'll just let it be and then let it unfold naturally.
Yes. Amen.
And I appreciate having you here. This has been a fascinating and interesting, and I hope it resonates with somebody that is going through the exact same thing. Is like, why am I here and what am I here to do? I don't know. Go find out what that is. And you can go ask some other people. You can go read some books. You can go find out different ways. The universe. I had a friend that said, I want you to go to a metaphysical bookstore and buy the first book that speaks to you. And that turned out to be Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. It became paramount to everything that I've learned and done since. And I just walked into the place and it said, "Here, buy me," and that's what I did.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. And what I'm trying to bring to life soon is pretty much in the same way. If it's calling for you, if you hear the calling, come. If you don't, it's not for you.
That's it. Giorgio, thank you so much for being here. Go to his website. Go to his website, which is Giorgio your last name, please.
Michailidis. Giorgio's fine.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And have a great day, everybody. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.